Stop what you are doing and listen to every single word of this, because what we are breaking down today touches every corner of the 2026 Toronto Blue Jays roster picture, and none of it is getting the attention it deserves in the mainstream baseball world. We have a signing that happened Tuesday night that flew completely under the radar and yet could quietly be one of the most important low-risk depth moves this organization has made all spring. We have a Max Scherzer update that is far more shocking than the headline suggests, a declaration from a 41-year-old future Hall of Famer that is already making pitching coaches in Dunedin laugh in disbelief and delight simultaneously. And we have a story about Game 7 of the World Series that just leaked this week and which reveals something extraordinary about the relationship between Max Scherzer and John Schneider that every Blue Jays fan absolutely needs to hear. If you are not subscribed to this channel yet, fix that right now and ring that notification bell, because opening day against the Oakland Athletics is March 26th and we are covering every single development between now and the first pitch of the regular season every single day. Let us get into all of it. Let us start with the signing, because the moment you hear who this player is and what his actual statistics look like when you dig past the ugly surface numbers from 2025, you are going to understand immediately why the Blue Jays front office decided to bring him into their big league camp. On Tuesday night, the Blue Jays officially announced the re-signing of left-handed reliever Joe Mantiply to a minor league contract with a non-roster invitation to spring training. The re-signing part is important. This is not a stranger. This is a player the organization already knows intimately, having acquired him from the Arizona Diamondbacks last July when he was designated for assignment. They watched him rebuild his arm at their Florida complex. They sent him to AAA Buffalo. They saw exactly what he can and cannot do. And they liked it enough to bring him back when he hit minor league free agency this winter. That is not an organization taking a blind flyer on a mystery arm. That is an organization making an informed decision based on first-hand evidence. Now let us talk about who Mantiply actually is, because the 15.83 ERA from his 2025 Diamondback stint is the number that will immediately make people dismiss this signing without looking any deeper. And that would be a serious mistake. In 2022, Joe Mantiply was a surprise National League All-Star. He posted a 2.85 ERA across 60 innings and 69 appearances for Arizona. He was one of the most reliable left-handed relievers in the entire National League that season. In 2024, he posted a 3.92 ERA across 75 appearances, which is the kind of durability and consistency that wins roster spots and keeps them. His Baseball Savant page from that 2024 campaign is, as MLB Trade Rumors described it, genuinely good. His chase percentage sat in the 100th percentile of all major league pitchers, meaning that no pitcher in baseball was getting batters to chase pitches out of the strike zone at a higher rate. His ground ball rate was among the best in the sport. His expected ERA and expected slugging against were both elite, reflecting a pitcher who was suppressing hard contact and generating soft contact at an extraordinary rate despite throwing an average sinker velocity of just 88.4 miles per hour. That last number deserves its own moment of attention. 88 miles per hour. In an era of professional baseball where the average fastball velocity has crept past 94 miles per hour and teams are drafting left-handers specifically because they threw 97 in college, Joe Mantiply is out here getting 100th percentile chase rates throwing 88 miles per hour. He is not overpowering anyone. He is deceiving everyone. The combination of his sinker movement and his changeup creates a tunneling effect on both sides of the plate that makes it genuinely difficult for hitters to pick up the pitch type and location until it is too late to make an adjustment. His sinker and changeup generate exceptional movement despite the below-average velocity, creating weak contact and grounders that are exactly what a team built on defensive excellence behind its pitching wants to see. He is a craftsman in the mold of the pitchers who have quietly been the most effective weapons in modern high-leverage relieving situations, the guys who do not show up in the highlight reels but show up on the win probability charts. The 2025 disaster with Arizona was real and it cannot be dismissed. He allowed 17 runs in 9 2/3 innings before being released in June. That is ugly any way you look at it. But context matters enormously here. He was battling through a period of mechanical inconsistency that his coaches in Arizona could not resolve and which apparently corrected itself almost immediately once he arrived in the Toronto organization. At AAA Buffalo, across 14 appearances and 15 2/3 innings, Mantiply posted a 3.45 ERA, a 29.7% strikeout rate, and a strikeout-to-walk ratio of 19-0. 19 strikeouts, 0 walks, against 64 AAA opponents. When a 35-year-old veteran posts a 19-0 strikeout-to-walk ratio at any level of professional baseball, it means his command is completely restored and his stuff is playing exactly the way it is supposed to. The Blue Jays saw enough of that to invite him back to camp on a zero-risk minor league deal, and they are right to do so. The bullpen picture he is entering makes his potential contribution even more significant. Brendan Little is locked in as the primary high-leverage left-handed option, but his command imploded spectacularly in the postseason last October, to the point where Schneider could not trust him in the most critical moments of the World Series. Mason Fluharty is a soft-tossing cutter specialist who posted a 4.44 ERA across 55 appearances in 2025 and still has minor league options remaining. Eric Lauer is being groomed for a multi-inning swing role. Ricky Tiedemann, the organization's highly touted left-handed pitching prospect, is again dealing with elbow discomfort early in camp. The Blue Jays are, as MLB trade rumors described it, light on established left-handed relief. Mantiply, if he finds the form that made him a 2022 All-Star, fills that gap with zero financial risk and significant potential upside. At 6 feet 4 inches and 219 pounds, he still has the physical profile to pitch effectively at 35. He is the definition of a buy low candidate, and the Blue Jays have a proven track record of getting exactly this kind of value out of exactly this kind of signing. Now let us get to the Max Scherzer update, because the headline is already everywhere, but the full story is something that deserves to be told properly. On Tuesday, standing in front of reporters at the Blue Jays Player Development Complex in Dunedin, 41-year-old Max Scherzer made a declaration that he said with complete, unwavering conviction, he will be ready for opening day. Not available in April. Not targeting a late-month return. Opening day. March 26th against the Athletics at Rogers Center. He said he feels great. He said he is completely over the thumb issues that derailed significant portions of his 2025 regular season, issues he declined to specify the exact nature of publicly but which he said are fully resolved. He said he has spent the entire winter throwing to minor league free agent hitters at his home in Jupiter, Florida, building arm strength and staying sharp without even having a contract in hand, simply because that is the kind of competitor he is. And then on Monday, his first day in camp, he stepped onto the mound in Dunedin and threw a bullpen session that left pitching coach Pete Walker and manager John Schneider visibly stunned. Schneider told reporters that he and Walker were chuckling behind Scherzer watching the session and saying, quote, "Damn. Okay. Think about what that means." Schneider had been managing Max Scherzer's expectations publicly for weeks, talking about uncertainty around his timeline, discussing the possibility that he might not be ready until later in the spring. And then Scherzer walked into camp and threw a bullpen that made the manager and the pitching coach look at each other with their eyebrows raised and their grins barely suppressed. His Grapefruit League debut against the Philadelphia Phillies is confirmed for this Saturday. He plans to throw multiple innings. And from there, he should be, by his own declaration and Schneider's implicit endorsement, fully ready for the first week of the regular season. Sports Illustrated reported his exact words. He came back because this team can win and he wants to be part of it. He came within 90 feet in the bottom of the 9th inning of Game 7 against the Dodgers at home. That is a wound that does not close. And for Max Scherzer, the only way to close it is to be back on a mound that matters, in October, in a building that is shaking with noise, delivering when it counts most. Which brings us to the leaked Game 7 story that emerged this week from Sportsnet's Ben Nicholson-Smith, and which is the kind of behind-the-scenes revelation that completely reframes the way you think about the Scherzer signing and the Blue Jays organizational culture. Picture this. Bottom of the 8th inning. Game 7 of the World Series. The Blue Jays are leading by a single run. The Dodgers have their number 3 hitter Teoscar Hernandez coming to the plate, one of the most dangerous contact hitters in baseball in a two-out, high-leverage spot. The stakes could not be higher. The entire season, the entire organization's championship window, is balanced on a single at-bat. John Schneider looked around in the dugout and his eyes found Max Scherzer. Not the current pitcher. Not the pitching coach. Max Scherzer. And he asked him directly, "What do you got?" Scherzer broke down that at-bat with the precision of a surgeon and the authority of someone who has been in that exact situation more times than almost anyone alive. He told Schneider exactly how to pitch to Hernandez in that moment. And the decision that followed, whatever it was, came with the full weight of that conversation behind it. That story is everything the Blue Jays front office hoped for when they signed Scherzer. It is the reason the Globe and Mail wrote that Schneider had been waiting all year for Scherzer to yell at him on national TV when Scherzer refused to leave the mound in Game 4 of the ALCS. Scherzer had earned the right to yell at Schneider on national television, in Schneider's own words, and that same authority, that same accumulated credibility from 8 All-Star appearances and 3 Cy Young Awards and 2 World Series rings, is what made Schneider turn to him in the most critical moment of the most important game of the year and ask him what he thought. The Blue Jays did not re-sign Max Scherzer for his 2026 stat line. They re-signed him because of exactly that moment in Game 7, and because they want 42 more of those moments next October. The rotation picture that emerges from all of this is almost overwhelmingly deep for a single team to manage. Kevin Gausman is the ace and he is untouchable. Dylan Cease, who received a 7-year, $210 million commitment, is the unquestioned co-headliner. Trey Yesevich, the World Series hero, is in the rotation with an innings management plan in place. Jose Barrios is healthy and competing hard. Cody Ponce is getting innings and showing good stuff in Grapefruit League action. Eric Lauer is being stretched out as a multi-inning swing option and wants to prove he deserves a permanent home in the rotation as a contract year pitcher. Shane Bieber is on the injured list but expected back within 4 to 6 weeks. And now Max Scherzer, 41 years old, is going to be ready for opening day and pitching multiple innings this Saturday. The Globe and Mail put it succinctly, the Blue Jays cannot simply rest on that. Managing that rotation through 162 games and a postseason run requires exactly the kind of tactical flexibility and veteran intelligence that the Scherzer signing provides, and the Mantiply signing reinforces, because a bullpen built around a veteran left-hander who knows how to get outs without overwhelming velocity is exactly the kind of depth that determines whether a championship roster survives the dog days of August intact or arrives at October depleted and compromised. This is what a franchise that lost Game 7 in extra innings looks like 4 months later. It does not sulk. It does not rebuild. It finds every available edge, signs every zero-risk veteran who might contribute, and makes sure that the man who narrated imaginary at-bats in his own bullpen session on day 1 of camp is ready to tell the manager what to do in the bottom of the 8th inning of Game 7 when the whole season is on the line. Now we want everything from you in the comments right this second. Are you all the way in on Joe Mantiply as a low-risk, high-upside bullpen depth piece who could be one of the best minor league signings of the entire spring? Does Max Scherzer being ready for opening day change your expectations for this rotation? And is he your pick to deliver the biggest moment of the 2026 postseason when it matters most? And what do you make of that Game 7 story? Schneider looking around in the most critical moment of the season and asking Scherzer what he had? Does that make you love this signing even more? Tell us everything. Smash that like button if you believe the Blue Jays finish what they started in November and bring the World Series trophy back to Toronto in 2026. Subscribe to this channel right now because we are covering every roster move, every spring training development, and every piece of news that matters to this team every single morning from now through October. Share this with every Blue Jays fan you know. Mad Max is back. He is ready for opening day. And the Jays are coming for what belongs to them. Let us go Blue Jays.